Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's my small endeavor to just clarify the basics of technical analysis through very small videos. Many of these concepts should be well known to you. I mean, anybody who is doing price analysis or technical analysis knows this concept. But I'll be trying to just clarify the basics because I get a lot of charts from a lot of people on Twitter where the absolute basics are not followed. So if you like this video, well and good. So today's topic would be trend lines. Now, what are trend lines? A trend line is a straight line that connects two or more price points and then extends into the future to act as a line of support or resistance. Many of the principles applicable to support and resistance levels can be applied to trend lines as well. You need 2 points to construct a trend line and a third point checking the trend line to qualify it as a valid trend line. Now, these 3 points are basically all you need to know about trend lines. There's nothing else. You just connect 2 points, draw a line, extend it into the future. It acts as a trend line. That is an uptrend line. So it must have a positive slope, which connects two or more points, which are the lows. The second low is higher than the first low, forming a positive slope. Uptrend line means net demand, that is demand for the stock or the index. Net demand is demand minus supply, is increasing even as prices rise. So if the trend line is sloping up, that means that higher price also the demand is increasing. So a rising price with rising demand is bullish and indicates strong conviction from buyers. The trend line will act as a support. As long as prices remain above the trend line, uptrend is considered to be intact. A break below an uptrend line means net demand has weakened, the conviction of buyers has weakened, and a trend change can happen. Let's see a small example about this. Let us say we take the chart of Reliance Industries. This is Reliance Industries cash. Now, if I try to draw a trend line out here, what will happen is, let's say a uptrend line, I will connect these two lines and just extend it into the future. The moment this third point hits, so this is point one, this is point two, this is point three. When 3 points have already hit this, only then we can say that this trend line is valid. This trend line is good. Otherwise, the trend line is not that good. Just these two lines will not kind of construct a trend line. So now this trend line is valid. When it comes down and hits this place, we can consider this to be a support. The reason I'm saying is when you're drawing an uptrend line, you should always connect the lows, not the highs, because I've seen people drawing trend lines like this. You do not connect the highs to create an upward sloping trend line. You always connect the lows. So kindly keep this very basic thing in mind. A break below an uptrend line means net demand has weakened, conviction of buyers has weakened, trend change can happen. So this trend line, which is very strong, if I go in the future, this is where the trend line break happens. See, even when the first time the trend line was hit, then it broke down. So the buyers who were here lost conviction at this price and then Reliance fell. So this is the simplest example of an uptrend line. So once we do an uptrend line, let us come to the next point. The next is a downtrend line, exact opposite. Negative slope connecting two or more points, always the highs. Second high is lower than the first high, forming a negative slope. Downtrend line means net supply minus demand is increasing, even as prices, okay, this is fall. Sorry. Right. A falling price with rising supply is bearish and indicates strong conviction from sellers. As the downtrend line acts as a resistance, as long as prices remain below the downtrend line, downtrend is considered to be intact. A break above a downtrend line means net supply is decreasing, the conviction of sellers is weakened, and a trend change can happen. Let us see one more chart. Say we see HDFC Bank. So when we are drawing a trend line, we first need 2 points. So this is point 1, this is point 2, right? I join these 2 points. The construction of a trend line has started, but it is not a valid trend line. I extend the line in the future. Around here, we see a check of a trend line has happened. Do not focus on absolutes. That is, it must hit the trend line exactly and stuff. It is close enough, it's valid. So this particular point check makes the trend line valid. Then when a crossover comes, it's good. Once again, if you're drawing a downtrending trend line, kindly connect the highs. This is not a downtrending trend line if you are connecting the lows. A lot of people do this mistake, please don't. Now validation, as I was showing you, minimum 2 points are used to draw. Third point must for the trend line to be valid. The more the better. More the points touching a trend line, more the validity of the support and resistance. Now it's not always possible to draw a trend line. Understand this very clearly. Every chart, every movement will not let you draw a trend line. So do not force and draw a trend line. It should be obvious. Thus, remember the general rule, 2 points to draw a trend line, third point confirms the validity. Just get back to a point once again. Here I take the bank index. Now, if I try to draw a trend line out here, okay, this is a valid trend line because I get 3 points, then the breakdown occurs. But I will not be able to draw a trend line here, this particular movement. It is not possible. So don't go on drawing like something like this. At every price move, you're changing the trend line. This is the point which I'm implying that not all charts support in drawing a trend line. There are a lot of charts which will not let you allow you to draw a trend line, so don't. This will be a downtrending line. See? So like this, we need to draw a trend line. Let's go to the next point. Spacing of points. The points should not be too far apart or too close together. The most suitable distance apart will depend on the time frame, the degree of price movement, and your personal preference. If the lows or the highs are too close together, the validity of the reactions might be in question. If they are too far apart, the relationship of the 2 points could be suspect. An ideal trend line is made up of relatively even spaced lows or highs. What do I mean by this? Again, let us do this example with a chart. Uh, let's stick to Bank Nifty for now. Let us take this place. Don't try to draw a trend line with just these 2 points. They are very close. Apparently, it might seem that this is working, but this line actually has no value. What you should rather do is take this point and say take this point, extend this. It breaks. This is not a valid trend line. Forget this. Again, draw another trend line somewhere from here to this. Third point. Now this trend line is valid. As you see, the points are spaced far apart. So they are not very close. It might seem these 2 are points, these 2 are not. Points must be quite far apart for a trend line to be valid. Otherwise, it's not a valid trend line. Angles. The more steep a trend line is, less the validity of the trend line and lesser the validity of the support or the resistance. A steep trend line results from a sharp advance or decline over a brief period of time. The angle of a trend line created from some sharp move is unlikely to offer a meaningful support or resistance level. Even if the trend line is formed with three seemingly valid points, attempting to play a trend line break or to use the support or resistance level established will often prove difficult. What do I mean by a steep trend line? Bank Nifty shows some very beautiful examples of this. Let's say this particular point once again. Let's come here. I cannot draw a trend line like this. It's very, very sharp. Rather, a trend line like this will be better. An opposite example. This cannot be a trend line. It's too sharp. This will be a better trend line. The stiffness is lower. If I go to the next slide, this point will be clear in a second. This is an uptrending trend line. So more the trend line is flat. I just marked this in green, light green, yellow, and red. If the trend line is flatter, say as of above 45 degree, do not kind of believe a trend line. It doesn't really work. If it is below 45 degree, it's beautiful. The more flatter, less steep the trend line is, more the validity. So this first particular line, I will believe it much more than say something like this. Above 45 degree, I will rather not believe a trend line. But below 45 degree, the less steep a trend line is, the more solid it is, the more you can use it for trading. So kindly keep this point in mind. Here, if you see this chart, as I said, steep trend lines do not work. So something like this will not work. This is not a trend line. This is massively sharp. Or if you try to say Bank Nifty was going up, and if you try to draw a trend line like this doesn't work. Rather, connect this to proceed. Much more flatter, takes a support, then breaks, better. So flatter a trend line, whether uptrending, whether downtrending, the more believable it is, the more trustworthy it is, the more you can use it for your own trading. Let's proceed. Now, these are my experiences in trend lines. Whatever I taught you, whatever I told you till now is basically theory. Number one, rather than drawing on bar charts, what I want you to do is use line charts or closing prices while drawing a trend line. Understand this very carefully. Even if you are drawing lines and trying to create a pattern, if you convert your chart to line charts, the pattern or the trend line will just jump up in your face. See, now I'm going to use the same charts which I was showing you. Say I was drawing a trend line on Bank Nifty, right? And I was drawing a trend line somewhere around here, and I will just show you how the difference comes into play. So here, if I'm trying to draw a trend line, I draw one trend line like this. Then I draw another, say like this. Then I draw another, say like this. Then I draw another, say like this. Future tells me one is valid and one is not. But after a little bit of time, I get confused because my construction was a bit faulty. Now see the construction, how it happens. When I simply change this chart to a line chart, what a line chart does is it's basically just based on the close, right? Now see. 1, 2, extend. Third point, valid. Fourth point, very valid. Here comes your breakdown. Right? But this, on your candlestick chart or on your bar chart, this will seem that I'm drawing the trend lines pretty randomly within this bar, within this bar, within this bar and stuff. But the moment, let me just increase the size of this particular page. This might look random, but the moment I change it to line, this becomes absolutely clear. Because on a line chart, I'm working just on the close. In fact, it becomes even better. I will take this point, I will take this point. Just give me a sec. Right. I will take this point, I will take this point, and I will simply increase it into the future. Perfect. Now the breakdown comes. Now see what happens if I change it to bar. Right? If cannot see this point, you cannot see this point, you cannot see this point. If I change it to candlestick, same problem. Candlesticks you can still do watching the bodies, but even if you're doing it on candlesticks, closing it much more better in order to draw a trend line or any kind of line if you're trying to do a pattern. I believe this particular tip will save you a lot of hassles, right? Second point, use candle bodies while drawing a trend line. I was actually telling you in the first point, just use a line. You can also use the candle body where you can ignore the upper wick and the lower wick, which are intraday euphorias, whether on the buying side or on the selling side. Just concentrate on the body. Number three, for a very sharp and fast rise or fall in a short period of time, use semi-log charts in place of normal charts. Also use semi-log for multi-year trend lines. I'm going to show you an example which my mentor showed me when I was learning technicals. That will clear the point for once and for all. I'm going down to Satyam Computers sometime in 2000. And this particular place. Now tell me something. Okay, forget the fall. Let us concentrate on this rise first. Can a trend line be drawn for this chart? If I try to draw, I will have one trend line out here. 1, 2, 3 valid trend line. Then it goes up. Trend line. I'm waiting for it to come to the trend line to buy. I never get a buy. I draw the second trend line. 1, 2, 3. Valid trend line goes up and continues to go up. Never comes down. By the time it goes here, the trend line has become, as I said, extremely steep. It cannot be trusted. So it seems that on this particular price movement, I cannot draw a trend line. Now what happens is, I change the chart to semi-log. Why I'm changing it to semi-log? See, because the price out here is like 62 rupees, correct? It goes up to 500 rupees. Now at 62 rupees, a move of 6 rupees is 10%. At 500 rupees, a move of 6 rupees is practically nothing. It needs a move of like 50 rupees for a 10% move. So the in a arithmetic, this is arithmetic skill chart. A 6 rupee move when it is 60 is not the same like a 6 rupee move when it is 500. When I change it to semi-log, this particular problem vanishes. Now let us go to 2000. Here. Now see. Point 1, point 2. Perfect. Lot of support. Then the breakdown comes. And it's a very valid breakdown. Got it? The same example I'm going to show you somewhere else. This is an important point, so I will just be dwelling on this a few minutes more. Reliance, if I'm trying to see a very long-term trend, let us say from where Reliance started to move and stuff, this is the chart of Reliance, correct? Let us concentrate on the current movement from 2016 where Reliance began an outperform. Now let us say there is an arithmetic chart. I will just change the chart to weekly because I'm looking at a multi-year chart. So I'm not interested in daily movements. And let us try to draw a trend line. So I start from here. Second point. I'm happy. Third point has been met. Here comes the breakdown. Price doesn't fall. There's a time correction and continuously price starts to goes up here, goes down here. It continues to goes up. Trend line is invalid. Second trend line. I incorporate this below. Fair enough. This is point 1. This is point 2. Let us see the third point. Third point, fourth point, very valid trend line. Goes up, breaks down. Again, I'm out of the stock. Again, it starts to run. So arithmetic scale is basically not solving my problem out here. The same problem like Satyam is happening. Reliance started a move from 500, and here I'm trying to understand a move at 1200, 1300, 1600 rupees. See something very interesting when I change this to semi-log, not just the trend line. You will see something very interesting on Reliance. Now, this is your Reliance chart. As I said, convert it to line. These are my points. Point 1, point 2, point 3. right? Valid trend line, breakdown is valid. Now there's another point written out here. I will just come to that. Keep extending trend lines into the future. That is, a lot of people draw trend lines like this. Point one, say this is point two, and then I say I just draw it. A lot of charting like this. Okay. Okay, a breakdown comes, Reliance is bad, now Reliance goes up, forget it. What I say is whenever you draw a trend line, just keep it extending into the future. So this trend line was actually support, correct? When a support is broken, that becomes a resistance. See the resistance out here. And you know something funny on Reliance? Let me show it to you. These were the first 2 points from where Reliance started. This one and this one. Now see what happens if I join these two. Sorry, just let me increase it a bit. Draw the chart exactly. Yeah. Now see this. See? So when Reliance fell, this point was acting as a support. As I said, if you forgot this line in 2017, you would have never understood in 2020 why Reliance was bouncing from here. In fact, it was a very long-term support. See, 1, 2, 3, correct? Forget this line as of now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very valid trend line. Just keep it extending into the future. Let's say from here, somewhere around here. So this was a support zone for Reliance, and from there Reliance bounced. So this is what I was telling. For a very sharp price fall, short period of time, use semi-log charts. Also use semi-log for multi-year trend lines. I will finish this off with the last example in Bank Nifty. I know everybody thinks what is happening currently. I will show you how semi-log works in a very smaller time frame. Now this is the Bank Nifty movement as of now. If you try to draw a trend line out here on a price bar, it will look something like this. Let's keep it here. And let's mark this chart. This is blue, correct? If I change this chart, as I said, to line, now see what happens. I need to change the chart to semi-log. In fact, drawing a trend line out here is very dicey because you're not getting 3 points. It is not possible to draw a trend line on this. Now change the same chart to semi-log. Because why I'm changing it to semi-log? Because Bank Nifty within a very short span of time, this particular low was like 16,000, then it was up to 22,000. So the movement was very fast in a short period of time, correct? Now see. This one. And I can also draw this one. Now change. Rather than focusing on this one, if I focus on this one, see 1, 2, perfect 3, correct? So this day's fall, when Bank Nifty fell from 18,800 to 17,504, when the trend line broke, you know that a major trend line, a valid trend line was breaking down. Now again, coming back to the point, this you won't be able to see in a normal arithmetic scale chart. Even if I change this trend to line, can I actually draw a trend line out here? No, because I'm not getting 3 points. If I try to get 3 points, this one, this one, this one. Then if I try to get 3 points, not much of a factor, but a semi-log gives you a very good idea about how a trend line is constructed. So Okay, another point is focus on price clusters. What I mean by price clusters? What I mean by price clusters is, which chart did not touch? Okay, HDFC Bank. Chalo. Price clusters means just, okay, let's take this place. If I take one, if I take two, sorry, so this will be there, this will be there. What I mean to say is, this one or this one or even this one, consider them as clusters as a point. Do not consider that from the exact trend line whether I'm bouncing or not. Nothing in life is perfect. You will not get a textbook, copybook example ever where the price will bounce exactly from this particular line. As my mentor used to say, think of a trend line or a support as a resistance as a kind of a badminton net. The moment the badminton cock hits that particular net, it goes ahead a bit, then comes back. So it's a bit elastic. It's not very fixed. But if I again change the chart, two candlesticks, you might seem that this is random, but focus that whether the price is changing from a cluster rather than from here, if the cluster is changing part. Then when the breakdown comes, this is valid. And you see this trend line is actually working. So rather than working on a particular point, focus on price clusters also. This brings me to an end. This was a very basic, but we all need to sometimes go back and study the basics. Now, I have used some references. The first reference is Edwards and Magee, Technical Analysis of Stock Trends. We call this the Gita, Bible, Quran, Zenda Vesta, Guru Granth Sahib of Technical Analysis. I bought this book in the year 2000, and at 2020, when I am a quantitative trader, trust me, sometimes I do go back and study the book. It's awesome. The second book, almost the same content, in an explained in a much modern way. You don't need to read both. You can read just one. The second one is Martin Pring, Technical Analysis Explained, the Successful Investor's Guide to Spotting Investment Trends and Turning Points. Now, this particular book is the first book is the Gita, and the language, man, is Sanskrit. It was written probably in 1940s or something. So it's very flowery language, even being American. And at that point of time, they did not have computers. They used to draw charts by hand. Those charts have been used. Martin Pring, when he wrote this, already computers were there. So it's a much more computerized approach, but the basic concept is the same. So either of these two, if you actually go down to how we everyone started, go down to Edwards and Magee. If you're short on time, you're young, 20, 25, less than 30, you want to kind of understand the basics very fast, I would suggest go for Martin Pring. In fact, when I suggested gave a book to my daughter to understand basic technicals, I gave her Martin Pring and not Edwards and Magee. Though I have the book in my house. Okay, I'm on Twitter as Shubhadeep Nandi. I guess all of you know this. My website is mudzik.biz. If I get a good feedback on this, I might be posting some smaller videos. I'm not a YouTuber, so this might not have gone very smoothly. Apologies if something has gone wrong. Thank you. Thank you for spending your time.